All right, and let's welcome everybody. Hello, everybody. Wave if you hear us. Make sure I'm just not staring into a rectangle on my desk and there's nobody on the other side. Okay. Just give it 1 second, and then Menla has some announcements, and then, of course.
Morning, everyone. Nice to see all of you. Today we're having a bright sunny day here in North Carolina and hot, hot, hot. Anyway, I would like to invite you this next weekend, a week coming up, starting on the 23rd, we have our annual summer virtual retreat, which will run Friday evening when Lama does his magic, Saturday and Sunday. And we have Lama Roger Walsh joining us for a Dharma talk on Saturday. And we have energy yoga and group practice and refuge. So all kinds of things, more things than we can do here on this 1 hour on Sundays. So I hope you will consider joining us. You can register right up until Friday. So it's never too late. So please join us. And I now turn it over to Lama. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear Menla, Pete, and all of you. What a beautiful day to gather, a beautiful Sunday. Although it is storming like hell here on the Maine coast, where I'm having a little beachy vacation with my godkids, with Chad and Julie and their kids, having fun. But it's a beautiful day. Every day is a beautiful day when you're in the spirit and together. I hope you're well and keeping well and being mindful of the pandemic and its evolution, of the protocols, of the information and advice, and making wise decisions, taking care of yourself and each other and others. Everything is so subjective. Everybody has an opinion. It's important to learn how to discern and sort it out, and clearing our own windshield of the schmutz and caca on it helps us a lot to drive through life better. So there's nothing like cultivating awareness, mindfulness practice, purification, calming and clearing our hearts and minds, bodies and souls, awakening our energy and spirit. For that, thinking globally and acting locally, beginning with ourselves and each other. I love getting together on Sundays. Somebody asked what time my sermon was. And if, you know, I would have corrected that word, but now I'm getting too old to bother. It's all good. I know what she meant. My mother used to call it my evening lecture. When she and my father occasionally visited our summer retreats when they were in person in Lake Canandaigua in the Finger Lakes in upstate New York on top of a hill overlooking the big lake, Canandaigua, at the Notre Dame Retreat House. It was funny. My parents came every night. I taught in the morning and night. One of the assistant teachers taught in the afternoon. And we had practice all day. And my mother used to put her hands up in the middle of my sermon or lecture or session and wait for me to call on her so she could tell everybody that she was there, and if they wanted to know more about the Lama, they should come and see her afterwards. Things like that. She was the proudest Jewish mother in Christendom. Anyway, it's nice to recall that. May they rest in peace. You know, it wasn't always that way growing up, as you could imagine, in the 50s and 60s, especially the 60s. maybe some of you remember. I won't get into all the jokes about that. But there's enough of concern today in the world. We all hear some of the news. We're involved. We're engaged in one way or another. Even the hermits depend on others and have to relate to the community for food, for water, for roads, for communications, for something. Even hermits. As Teilhard de Chardin, the great Jesuit anthropologist and philosopher, author, as Teilhard once said during the terrible dark years of World War I, when mass killing first really came into vogue with automatic weapons and things like that. Teilhard, who was French, I think, really an international scholar, he said, it's only the prayers of the hermits in caves and wilderness that's keeping this dark world afloat these days. And there's hope. So we're not in the middle of a world war, but we all know what's going on. There's plenty to think about and to be involved in. And as a bodhisattva, we can't just rest on our own peace or calm or temporary peaceful part of the world or phase of our life. We're all interdependent, interrelated, interconnected, interbeing, including the endangered and stressed environment. And we can all see the results of that with the crazy extremes of weather, of extreme heat and other things. We have to take care of the environment and the atmosphere, emissions, carbon footprints, etc. Anyway, we do our part. I can't remember if I've said this before. Anyway, it comes up. I'm just a ventriloquist dummy, you know. I feel this is the best thing that I can do to contribute to a better future and a better world. It begins right now. So each of us has our own thoughts about that, our own way, our own gift, our own contribution, our own place in this mandala of the natural great perfection, mandala of God's creation, if you think like that. All God's creatures, great and small. So beautiful, so mysterious. Life is so tenuous, so fleeting, handled with prayer. So now let's begin with chanting, requesting blessings, encouragement, inspiration, protection, guidance from the archetype of all the female masters, mistresses. Machi Glabdran, who lived about 900 years ago in Tibet, who teaches the Prajnaparamita or innate gnosis, transcendent wisdom teachings, Prajnaparamita, and especially Chud, ego cutting, or cutting through solidity, Chud practice. Pete, could you put that prayer up, please? And we'll chant together in Tibetan and then in English to get ourselves going today, further along the path together. It's like a rain of blessings outside. It's just pouring down. I love just listening to the sound of the rain beating on the roof and on the wooden porch out there. And just listening and letting it wash everything away and settling and relaxing. You can be just listening to your breath or the heartbeat in your temples. If you can get subtle, feel that, hear that. The heartbeat in your temples or in your wrists, or wherever you feel it. When I become clear, everything becomes clearer. When I was enlightened, all were enlightened, even the rocks and the trees, as Buddha said. When we become clear, all becomes clearer. Om Chigmala Soada. Chigmala Soada. Hung Chigmala Soada. Gapa Yeshikila. Mapohai Shikila. Nampai Shikila. Kusantai Chichet. Maya Shinga. Bhata Basho Maya Shinga Ba Yutu Sho. Om Mother Machig, to you we pray. Ah Mother Machig, to you we pray. Hung Mother Machig, to you we pray. Empower me through the white Om, forehead to forehead, from your forehead chakra to mine. Empower me through the red Ah, shooting from your throat chakra to mine. Empower me, us through the blue Hung, shooting, transmitting from your heart center into mine, into ours. Transmit to us your enlightened body, speech and mind, heart and soul, energy and spirit. May we attain your realization of transcendent wisdom, Prajnaparamita, the sixth paramita, the sixth transformative practice of the Bodhisattvas. And may we be a light, an awakener, a spiritual hero, a force for good in this benighted, agitated world, for the boundless benefit of one and all, including all in our prayers and practices and sterling aspirations today, especially all those who are sick, who are afflicted, who are hungry, who are thirsty, who are poor, who are lost, who are disenfranchised, who are exiled, who are political, economic refugees, who are enslaved, who are at the mercy of natural disasters like wildfires starting again in California, like tidal waves, tsunamis, and hurricanes. And may we all together fulfill the splendid promise of this spiritual journey. One Sangha, one Satsang, one true fellowship, one family, one circle, one mandala, one beyond separation, parting or joining. Imaho. Miraculous, wondrous. Thank you. Yes. Just breathing. Just sitting. Letting go of everything and just focusing awareness. The three pillars of natural meditation. Natural body, just sitting and feeling the physical sensations, embodied dharma. Just breathing, natural breath and energy, let it go, let it flow. Sambhogakaya, experience, vision. Just being aware, present, attentive, awareness, left alone. The Dharmakaya, the natural state as it is. Imaho. Just sitting, just breathing, just being attentive, present, and aware, or wakeful, incandescently, lucidly present. This breath, as if only breath. This moment, as if only moment. Nowness awareness is the true and fabricated Buddha within, as Dudjom Rinpoche sang. Nowness awareness, moment to moment. Just this, not linking it together with memory, with concepts. not trying to capture or limit the sky, tie knots in the sky, superimpose barbed wire over the open field of experience. Standing in Shunyata, just standing in space, like the Dakini skygoers, resting in the groundless and boundless, big Tigli, the ultimate sphere, the big bubble, the big Tigli, the ultimate sphere, the great perfection, things just as they are. To find, feel, settle into the nirvanic peace, the relief, the release, the natural ease, relaxation of living things just as they are, without interference, without trying to control it. Simply aware of whatever arises in the body-mind continuum in the present moment. That's natural meditation, natural mindfulness. Awareness alone, moment-to-moment awareness, lucid presence, vigilant, attentive, conscious awareness, pure presence. Assume your Buddha seat, for example, and rest at the origin of all things. Imaho. Enjoy the joy of non-meditation, the joy of being with a capital B, awareness with a capital A plus. See? Seeing is freeing. Imaho. Yes. Way to go. Thank you. Ah, ah, eyes open, ears open, nose open, throat open, heart and mind totally open, decontracted, relaxed, at ease, at home, embracing, inviting, welcoming everything, open, friendly, receptive, and perceptive. Intention and attention are the essence of any meditation practice, contemplative practice. Rest in the sky-like nature of mind, the magic mirror of mind that reflects everything, that clings to no image, no matter what is reflected in it. Just shiny, open, mirror-like awareness, sky-like awareness, gently rolling like the sea, with little ripples of experiences, perceptions, sensations. yet the depths remain unmoved. Awareness alone, awareness cultivation, mindful awareness, lucid presence of mind, choiceless awareness, what can we call it? Incandescent presence. Cultivate it, focus on it. Awareness is curative. Awareness with a capital A plus is the higher power in the path of enlightenment that came to be called Buddhism. We find refuge, we take refuge in awareness. The enlightened awareness of Buddha, the first refuge, the first reliance in all of us. Nothing outside to get, buy, long for, only to cultivate, exercise, move more consciously, intentionally, and principledly from the heart, the path with heart, compassion and action. The moving mind, the still mind, same mind, mind to mind. Look into its true nature, its impermanent, ownerless, flowing nature, inexhaustible stream of consciousness, the river of awareness. Just go with the flow, nothing more to know, figure out, or achieve. Simply aware, whatever presents itself, friendly, open, welcoming, attentive. Whatever presents itself in the body-mind continuum, the flow of experience. Seeing is freeing. Seeing through or recognizing, and third, releasing / allowing. Or more broadly, just experiencing, recognizing, releasing, allowing. 3, almost simultaneous steps to the inherent freedom and completeness of just being. How sweet it is, Imaho. Wondrous, amazing. Yes, thank you. Yes. Now to tune up our attention, our cultivation of awareness practice, let's chant 5 times the wisdom syllable hung, hung. Chant with me. Breathe in and with one big exhalation 5 times. Hung, 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 hung. Shaking it all out, vibing it all out, breathing out, releasing again, inhaling, and a big hung, 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 hung. The oceanic hung, hunging out. And once again, once more, last time, inhaling, and a big hung, hung. Put it out there, breathe it out, relax, empty yourself. Hung, hung, hung. With a big exhalation, emptying yourself totally, releasing. The less of me, the more room for thee. O Lord, Lord Buddha, I thou. Om Ahung, sung it out. How sweet it is. I love it. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Padme Hum. Padme Hum. Om Mani 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 Padme Hum. Padme Hum. Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. This is mantra 3. Om Mani Padme Hum. With 3 added at the end. HRI. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Heart syllable of compassion. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Homage to great compassion, Avalokiteshvara. Om Mani Padme Hum. Chenrezi Kuan Yin. Tara. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. May all beings be happy, peaceful, content, healed, liberated, and free. May we all together complete the spiritual journey. Pete, could you give us the page in the Dzogchen Center prayer book with Kempo's dedication prayer and the Millennium Prayer? It's always nice to go out singing and praying and well-wishing, including all in our prayers and practices and sterling aspirations and intentions today. Thank you. Pete Sachs, ladies and gentlemen. Connecticut Yankee. Through the merit of this virtuous practice, may the light of the Buddha's precious teachings remain for ages to come. The ground, the basis for every single kind of benefit and happiness. That means worldly and spiritual flourishing and wellness. May all the supreme holders of the teachings who uphold its living truth agree to live for aeons and their lotus feet stand firm in this world. And so may the sun of altruism and well-being in all its blazing splendor shine the brilliant light of the study and practice of Buddha Dharma throughout every corner of the universe. May all beings everywhere with whom we are inseparably interconnected and who want and need the same as we do, may all be awakened, liberated, healed, fulfilled, safe, and free. May there be peace and harmony in this world and an end to war and violence, poverty and hunger, inequality and oppression, greed, cruelty, pandemics, famine, droughts, earthquakes, all kinds of natural disasters. May we all be free from fear, harm, danger, anxiety, and insecurity. And may we better prepare ourselves for the natural calamities that can beset us all. And may we all together complete the spiritual journey all the way home. One beloved community, one circle, one family, all the way home. I bow to the Buddha, the light, the goddess, the divine in your seat. Don't overlook them. We've been practicing natural meditation, Dzogchen meditation, Trekchud in Tibetan, cutting through, seeing through, being through, Trekchud in Tibetan. Awareness cultivation, recognition or inquiry into our true nature, examining and holding and embracing and experiencing and releasing whatever momentarily arises in the body-mind continuum in the present moment. Beyond judgment based on liking and disliking, attachment and aversion, pushing and pulling, aversion, anger, attachment, desire. Just equanimous with spiritual detachment, caring. You're not over-invested or attachment or over-expectant of outcomes. No appointments, no disappointments, as Trungpa Rinpoche once wisely commented or quipped. Once, maybe 15 years ago or more, Tricycle Magazine's editors asked me to write something non-sectarian about the essence of meditation, the essence of Buddhist meditation. So I wrote an article that I recommend to you, The Heart Essence of Buddhist Meditation. You can Google it on the Tricycle website, I'm sure. Talking about the common points of all Buddhist meditation, like concentration and wisdom, like cultivating present awareness with a friendly and open and yet non-clinging and non-manipulative, non-controlling way, non-reactive awareness. As mindfulness teachers like Joseph Goldstein, Jack Kornfield, Sharon Salzberg, John Kabat-Zinn, etc. teach. Tibetan Buddhism, Vajrayana Buddhism, Vajrayana Mahayana Buddhism has a tremendous opportunity or resource, a gold mine of spiritual practices, like a whole pharmacopoeia. But if we find out what works for us, that's all we need. Like if we're sick, we need one medicine or two medicines from whatever source. Let's call it the drugstore in this case. We don't need the whole pharmacopoeia. So we're focusing on the essence of meditation, the heart essence of meditation. Not just calm and clear and present, but also friendly, open, welcoming, flowing, resilient, flexible, inclusive. I want to emphasize that, the friendly and openness aspect of classic mindfulness as it's explained in the sutras, the scriptures from Buddha's mouth. And present awareness, not trying to cultivate any special state of mind like not thinking or bliss, but aware of whatever is as it is. That's the first step on the Eightfold Path, right? Wisdom, right seeing, right view, wise seeing, wise view. When people have asked the Dalai Lama, what is the essence of Buddhism? And notice I'm saying not Buddhism, not the essence of meditation, which I wrote about. And I recommend to you, if you're interested, if you haven't seen it, The Heart Essence of Buddhist Meditation, Tricycle's archives. The Dalai Lama said the essence of Buddhism is wisdom and compassion. Cultivating, developing wisdom and compassion. Another time, in other contexts, he says the Four Noble Truths, and the Eightfold Path is the fourth noble truth. Other teachers say mindfulness is Buddhism in one word, or awareness. Of course, there are other tenets like nonviolence, non-harming, attitude transformation, cultivating unselfishness, generosity, ethical self-discipline, effort, joyous energy, discernment, skillful means or resourcefulness, and so on, all of the 6 or 10 paramitas. I have a whole book about that if you want to read it. Buddha is as Buddha does, the 10 transformative practices. Light living, but the 10 paramitas, the Panacean practices, the paramitas, the transcendent virtues of Buddhism. Not just be good and do good, not just gathering merits and good fortune for a better rebirth, a better next life, as people say in the old country, but Panacean practices, selfless giving, noble giving, the first one, Dana Paramita, the first one, giving of oneself without expectation in return. Not just giving material things and help, but lending an ear, being there for others, being emotionally generous, not emotionally stingy, and so forth. Non-attachment is the ultimate form of generosity, of non-clinging, by the way. So there's a lot to think about that in terms of how we can cultivate in our lives a path, a practice that does lead directly to freedom and enlightenment, or the better life that we seek, and the better world that we seek and wish to contribute to, and to non-harming, non-violence in this violent world, red in tooth and claw, as the poet calls it. My god-grandchildren were telling some jokes and riddles last night at dinner, and they were saying, what kind of animal kills the most? Sharks? Mosquitoes? Somebody said, people. Yes. Anyway, when I see you and me and you, who can I harm? Who can I exploit? It's like we're all each other's family, obviously. And the world is challenging enough. The upbringing, the identity quest, the young adulthood, the love life, the vocational question, the societal and socioeconomic questions, democracy and other things. We don't need to add to that. In fact, the cooler we are, and Shila, ethical self-discipline, includes compassion, but Shila literally in the ancient language of India means cooling. It's like shade from the hot, boiling Indian sun, or by extension, it means the virulent, afflictive emotions. It like provides shade from the blazing summer sun of the virulent, afflictive emotions like greed, hatred, delusion, pride, and jealousy, the five main ones. So it's incumbent on those of us who hear these words, who feel this call, who grok it, who feel moved, to work on ourselves, to do the work, to do these things. Otherwise, we're not proselytizing or telling anybody what they should do or how they should live. And I'll tell you, we can barely tell ourselves and follow that advice, as you know. So I wanted to open the floor now to questions. People seem to have a lot of questions. It's a good way to do this. I don't want to just be lecturing about Buddhism. We're trying to awaken and transmit something empowering, something juicy, something alive, enlivening and enlightening. Share something together from the group mind, the group heart, the Buddha-ness that we're all part of. Any questions, please?
Lama, yes, we had a question from Rob. It says, blessings from Austin, Texas. Can you please speak to guilt in quotation marks? Is this ego?
It's all ego. The things that you don't mind are probably also ego, but we don't have to get into that, and nor be too perfectionistic or in any, fire and brimstone. Ego has its place, but it's a good servant, but a poor master. That's the problem, with too much under its thrall, its power. Guilt. Well, that's a big question. And sometimes we hear laughingly about Catholic guilt or Jewish guilt or other kinds of, guilt. Not just in the legal sense. In Buddhism, generally, we don't talk that much about sin or guilt. We try to understand karma, cause and effect, what goes around comes around, What you sow, you reap. So we practice purifying our unwholesome thoughts, words, actions. Sometimes in Vajrayana Buddhism, we use the 100-syllable purification mantra or the 6-syllable purification mantra to do that. So that we acknowledge, some people call it confess, but that has other associations. So I call it acknowledge instead of denial. We acknowledge, and then we regret or repent, regret, and then we vow never to do it again. So that's how we expiate the guilt or the sins. We purify the unwholesomeness. And the vowing not to do it again is important. If we really regret it, then we might very well, know better next time. And that's how we transform our life and all of our karma, whether it's, some action that we did in the past or habitually do, or I don't know, other kinds of underlying, overarching guilt, like guilt about something from your family of origin. I don't know, guilt that you don't call or visit your parents enough or something. It's kind of like anxiety. You can be anxious about something like the pandemic variants spreading. And that's anxiety might be, healthy concern, not neurotic extra anxiety. But you don't have to be guilty about getting sick. Now, if you're reckless and you get sick, then you're kind of guilty of being careless and reckless. And you regret that, you repent it, and you sort of decide, you vow not to do it again. It depends on the not doing it again, of course, whether you change your ways, whether you recondition and decondition your unwholesome karma. That's the idea. So there's no need to really carry around the baggage of guilt. Of course, it's easier said than done. And some people, have found relief from therapy or just from talking it out with somebody else and support groups or in intimate relations and trusted friends and so on. So we don't think about guilt exactly in the same way, and there's no one judging us after we die in that way. Although you could say that karma is the judge. But we don't think of St. Peter or St. Buddha or somebody standing at the gates somewhere after we die weighing. But karma is the judge. And it might have that notion of, the positive and the negative. So reconditioning and deconditioning is possible and important. That's what I have to say about that. And of course, if you can make reparations for something you really are guilty of and do regret, with another person, or maybe they're dead, but pay it forward, that's also can be helpful. So guilt is like extra baggage, and you have to pay for every extra pound carried around. Questions?
Thank you, Lama. We have a good question from Daryl. I think, okay. Why do the practices focus on the 3 chakras? I guess you're talking about the Dzogchen practices specifically in the practices. Why do the practices focus on the 3 chakras of forehead, throat, and heart and not the others?
Since you posed the question, why do the practices? So I will say this practice that we are doing with this prayer focuses on the 3 chakras. There are other practices that focus on 4 chakras, 5 chakras, or the 7 chakras. Tibetan yoga focuses on the 7 chakras, and there are many different practices and movements and energy practices and other things. But to your question, I think is pointed at, in this case, we're just trying to be inclusive of just not like praying for blessings or something, but like, please transmit to me your embodied awakefulness, like your body wisdom and energy, and then your speech or your visionary expressive energy and your mind. So it's kind of like, that's why I often add body and soul, heart, what I say, body and soul, energy and spirit, just to be inclusive. So in Tibetan, in Himalayan Buddhism, we often say, I take refuge with body, speech, and mind, so heart, mind. and then we bow. Something like that. So it's supposed to be inclusive, not just with your mind, not just with your body. You can bow with your body, but if you're thinking about, I don't know, the ball scores or the stock market, you're not really lowering yourself and bowing. The thoughts or intentions are more powerful karma than just your body moving like an earthworm up and down, or inchworm, whatever they do. My old Lama Kalu Rinpoche, who was so brilliant and learned, but he always used the example of an inchworm. And then he always went like this, like he was giving us a little princess wave. There must have been a lot of inchworms in his part of Tibet, and they went like this. And people said, don't just be bowing like an inchworm. You also have to put your sort of intention and visualization into it, or something like that. So body, speech, and mind, heart, mind. It's an algorithm. It's a meme. It's a acronym. It's like saying ABC. We don't have to go around saying the game tonight is on the American Broadcasting Company channel. You say it's on ABC. And more interesting, I'm always trying to educate and edify and illumine this situation, this area that we're in, that we're inquiring into here. It's called the three Vajras. Vajra, the lightning bolt, the diamond, the god Indra holds, like Thor holds the lightning. So Vajra, Vajrayana, Dorje, the three Dorjes. Rather than the impermanent body, mortal, aging, whatever, decrepit, vulnerable, the Vajra body, the deathless, essence, transpersonal essence, not just the personal frame. So transmit to us your enlightened body, or your Vajra body, your Vajra speech and expressions, and your Vajra heart mind, the deathless Dharmakaya. So that's called the three Vajras in that lingo. So when we initiate or empower people in the tantric initiation / empowerment tradition, then we usually touch the Vajra or mirror or crystal to those three parts. We could touch all seven, but those pretty much include it. That's why I say body, speech, and mind, heart and soul, energy and spirit, just to be more inclusive. Thank you. Good question. So I hope you'll join us for our, it must be almost 30th annual summer retreat, although we're not gathering in person this year because of the pandemic. Hopefully we will by next year. This Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, virtual retreat, practicing like this. I'll be teaching several times on each of those days. And also we have a guest teacher on Friday, my assistant teacher, a good friend, Saturday afternoon, Dr. Roger Walsh, author of many books, a brilliant bodhisattva and good guy. Love to one and all. It's a beautiful day. Enjoy it.
Thank you, Lama. Thank you, everybody. Hopefully we'll see you on retreat next weekend. And it was really beautiful to sit with you all, and have a great rest of your Sunday. I believe that's the day we're on. Thank you. Thank you, Lama.
Thank you, one and all. Thanks, Pete, for your help. Menla. Be well.